Welcome back from that short commercial break. So now we are going to go deep and talk about the effects of climate change in agriculture or the farming sector. And Ashley is going to tell us more details about that.
Thank you so much, dear moderator, for this opportunity given to me. As they have defined, climate change is the rise in temperatures and change in weather patterns. Yes, and this is a very key point in our discussion. And as today I'm going to talk about the agriculture sector. Change in climate has led to reduction in crop yields, whereby the rise in temperature causes drought in our community, causing the drying of our crops, hence leading to low yields and poor yields, or sometimes even we don't get any yields at all. My second point is that when there is too much sunshine or temperature, this causes a large spread of pests. Since pests love the warm weather and they destroy our crops, this also leads to the low production in food. And my third point is that extreme weather disruptions, which is caused by, of course, climate change, causes the destruction of crops, whereby the too much rain that we receive causes plants to get destroyed. And also, even sometimes this too much rainfall that comes causes soil erosion, whereby that fast flowing water washes away the top fertile soil. Thank you so much, dear moderator, for the time that you have given to me.
Thank you very much, Ashley. For our dear viewers who are in the farming or agriculture sector, I hope you have really heard how climate change affects your sector. So now we are going next to climate change and food security in schools. And we are going to know climate change, how it has affected the food sector in schools like Kashaka and others. And Hope is going to tell us more of this in details.
Thank you, the moderator of today. Once again, my name is Hope, and I'm going to contribute on what Ashley has said. Now, the effects of climate change in the food security in schools. My first view is it leads to malnutrition and health. So now, when this drought comes, it leads to the famine, which leads to loss of foods to be supplied to the schools. But now, like, it makes children get sick, and it makes them, some of them experiencing standard growth, which is not healthy to us the students. So my second point is it leads to a reducing of the availability of crops and its high prices. So now, when drought happens and it leads to the famine, there are no crops to help the farmers supply them to the schools, which makes it difficult for the people taking care of the schools to find it difficult to access the money of buying the foods, because they're always on a high price since the food is not there for the farmers to supply them to schools. Thank you very much, the moderator.
So, friends, there are ways we as students can fight against global warming, and there are very many and various. So Shanita is going to list for us and explain to us the ways how we as students can fight against global warming.
Thank you so much, dear moderator. I really think students combating climate change is a major impact. It is something that can solve it at a best rate as much as possible. Why I think so is because these specific students are so many in schools, or the number of students is higher than any other number in schools. It means that if we put the initiative to then plant trees, it means like around 100 trees or 1,000 can be planted in one single day. Why that becomes so important is that at the shortest time possible, impacts are made in the easiest way possible. What happens with students is that we as students have creative minds. The creative minds help students to then bring up things like sustainable farming. Sustainable farming looks like, even if you do not have land or enough land to grow some specific crops, you as a student you have a creative idea that you can use in order to maybe get crops. How that is done in schools is whereby you see some students are able then to get things like buckets, then plant their fruits, or get some sacks and then put soil and then plant other crops. What that becomes important is that you're using the same land that students use for football, you're using the same land where teachers work, but you're also gaining something from it, which means you're supplying the school with food, plus you're protecting the environment because the more trees that are available, the more crops that are available, the more toxic fumes are absorbed, which means that our ozone layer does not deplete, which means that everything is so good. Also, students, three, can help in waste management. We know that youth are people that take a lot of packed drinks. They are the ones that take a lot of packed junk food, which means that if they put in the efforts to then manage waste through recycling, through reusing, it means that in the end, they can be able to do what? To manage the waste in the best way possible. Thank you, moderator.